Hi, my friends, it's Meredith with Sul Navigation, your evolutionary astrologer, and today we are going to go deep. We're going to go deep into the houses. It doesn't matter what your sun sign is. It matters what house your sun is in. Did you hear that? It matters what house your sun is in. And if no other astrologer on YouTube is talking about it, it's no small thing and it's important. And it's actually, in some ways, even more important than what your sun sign is, or equally as important, because it's going to show you the arena and the sandbox in which your soul, which is your sun sign, soul sign is sun sign, wants to and will express itself. It is the world in which you will find your soul inside of. So, for example, if you're born in Mobile, Alabama, how is that going to shape your soul opposed to if you were born in Golongal? Or how is that going to shape you if you were born in Greenland? Or how is that going to shape you if you were born in Belgium or France or on planet Mars, right? So the where is going to create the why and the how, okay? So it's kind of like nature versus nurture. So if the sun sign is the nature, it's your biologics, let's say, this is your nurture and it matters. And the only way you can know where your sun sign is if you know your birth time. So I pray that you know this. Now, if you don't, you can order a deep dive natal report on my website, soulnavigation.com. Go over there and get yourself a report. And my God, you should have your chart by now. And so if you need your chart, you can get one over there too. But let's dive in to the sun through the houses. I'm not going to be talking about the sun signs, but you do need to know the natural zodiacal wheel, because if your sun is in the first house, I don't care what sign it's in, it's going to feel like it's going through the filter of an Aries. If you have a second house sun sign, you're going to take an element of Taurus. Third house, you're going to take an element of Gemini. Fourth house, the element of Cancer. It doesn't matter what your sun sign actually is. It doesn't matter that you're a Sagittarius. If you're born in with the sun in Sagittarius in the fourth house, it's going to take on the sign, the natural zodiacal wheel. Fourth house is Cancer. Are you with me? Please leave me a comment below and let me know if you're getting this. And if not, you got to go back to my first video in this series, and by now you will have it. Yep. So if your sun is in the fifth house, you're going to take on the expression and the feeling and the arena and the stage of a Leo. If your sun is in the sixth house, it's going to feel a little Virgoian. The seventh house, the great diplomat, the Libra, the eighth house, Scorpionic, ninth house suns are going to feel like Sagittarius. 10th house suns are going to feel like Capricorns. 11th house, did you say it? Aquarius, right? And 12th house, tell me what it is. Pisces. Anyways, you get it. Let's go dive in deep because it's going to be fascinating. And we're going to peel that onion and we're going to go deeper than most, because this is deep astrology with Sul Navigation. Be a subscriber, trying to get to 20,000 subscribers. So subscribe now if you haven't already. And let's go through all the houses. First, I've got to tell you, what is the sun? Okay. The house that the sun occupies in your natal chart is going to show you the area of life where you're going to focus your vital energy. Unless you have a stellium, that means 3 planets or more, and especially personal planets. So if you have your moon, Mercury, Venus, or Mars crammed into another house, and that means 3 or more personal planets in another house, your sun sign house wins. It takes the cake. It's bingo on the board. Yeah, it's like bingo. It is the arena of biggest focus. It's the gold medal. It eclipses all the rest unless you have a stellium of personal planets. And you could have two personal planets plus an outer planet. So you could have like the moon and Venus and Pluto in the third house, and you could have a ninth house sun, and the third house may just win. Okay. So this is where your vital energy, this is where you will wear the crown. And so this factors the highest in your life. And your sun sign is going to show you how your soul will self-actualize. Self-actualize, and that's no small thing. What does self-actualize mean? Does anybody know? Leave me a comment below if you know. It is where and how in the arena that your soul will authentically become you. Self-actualization is the authenticity of you. The sun is the giver of all life. It is every single thing on the planet that has been birthed into existence. And so is the sun inside of you. Your sun sign is your everything. It is your essence. And it matters most. It is the vital life energy inside of you. It is your existence and your essence. It is your will to live. It is the point between your birth and your death. Your birth and your death. It's this thing inside of your birth and your death. It is enormous. It is your identity and it is your individuality. It is the unique you that is not me. It is the you in you that can relate to me but is not me, right? It is you. The condition of your sun is going to tell you how your identity will likely manifest. Let's keep going. This is going to be deep, this is going to be real, and this is going to be raw. If your sun is in the first house, this is the house of the personality. After all, the front door to this house is the ascendant, right? It's the mask that you wear. And when somebody asks you to guess their sun sign, they're actually saying, guess my first house. Guess my ascendant, right? So right now I want you to guess my ascendant. Can you guess my ascendant? What's my ascendant? Yeah, because you can't see my soul. I haven't showed you my soul yet. I've showed you my personality. I show you, like you're showing me, my first house. And the first house is bossed and owned by the ascendant, right? So what do you think the first house in me is? It's just a test. It's a test to see if you can feel the vibration. It's a test to see if you can see the persona or the personality. The personality is not the soul, okay? Now the sun is the soul, but if you are a first house sun, life is massively confusing because people see your personality and they are also seeing your soul. What you see is what you get. There is no mask. Because my personality is also my soul, because my sun sign, soul sign, sits in the house of persona and personality. It's massively confusing, but what does that give me? It gives me like a AAA battery. Like it gives me triple the juice. It gives me the ability to have the mask and the soul be the same thing. No filter. I cannot hide. I cannot hide. I am 1000% myself. I'm going to challenge you to guess my personality. And is my personality also the same sign as my sun sign? Do I have a sun in the first house? I'm going to let you guess. It's just a little game, just a tiny game. Just play with me, have some fun with me. Leave me a comment below. If you are a first house sun sign, you are going to feel so vital, so raw, so real. You have this giant impulse to be a leader and you're going to initiate life on your own terms. You're not going to want to play games. You not only want to, but you need to leave a mark on this world. You have this ability to put yourself or find yourself in a leadership role where you initiate life on your own terms. I mean, it's crazy how good at this you are. You want to be remembered, you want to shine, and you want to be noticed for who you are and what you stand for. You have this incredible courage in your life, and you have this driving force to be an instant victor. You refuse to be a victim, right? This is the house of personal victories, overcoming all odds. This is a person who was dealt a hard life, a hard hand. So in poker, you were given a bunch of twos and you had to build or wait for or strategize for those aces. And you did, and you do. And you will feel like your life is so vital, so critical, so crucial that you will fight for the victories against the mere existence of life and death problems and challenges. You will feel like it's a do or die lifetime with a strong sun placement here. Can anyone answer the question, what do I mean by a strong sun placement here? What do I mean by that? First house suns have to fight for what they believe in. And if you have hard transits, if you have exacting aspects, this is for my advanced students. So if you don't get this, it's okay. Go back to some of my other previous videos and you will, I promise you, you will gain a really good education on this channel because I tell you the grit, I tell you the truth. I am really, really real. So a strong placement means if you have exact transits, not just a bunch of easy trines, but if you have hard aspects, squares and oppositions to your sun in the first house, oh my God, you have a strong sun in the first house and you will have to fight and use your might for the right of life. And you will feel that. You will need to battle your way through life. You will be impulsive and impatient and combative, and you will demand and command respect. You will find a position of dominance with this sun in the first house with a really strong sign. You know, these are the people who are in search of who they are and what their purpose is. These sun sign people, it doesn't matter if it's Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about if your sun is in the first house, you are an energizer of other people. You are beyond passionate. You have a zest for life and for living life at the largest of levels. You are unafraid to go first. I guarantee you, you are the first at something in your family. You are the first being educated. You are the first, traveling west. You're the first leaving your country. You're the first speaking a new language. You're the first college degree. You're the first person who opened up their own. You're the first person who made more money, right? You get it. You're unafraid. You will go first. Think of each battle you have won, or at least each battle that you didn't die from, and you get a purple heart. You get the red badge of courage, and it grows you. Who here is a first house sun that can relate to this? This creates strength and character and fortitude and stamina, and you are here to defy the odds and tell your story. Learning, however, to erode adversity by the end of your life, stepping into your opposite Libra 7th house, learning about the grace of partnership is really the bigger picture for you. It's not just winning all these wars. It's learning to put down the sword and negotiate a new contract, one that doesn't require a fight, one that requires diplomacy and love, grace and humility, learning cooperation in the art of a collaborative deal. That is actually what your lifetime is about. But that may take this lifetime to learn that. The second house. If you have the sun in the second house, you need to have, or I should say, you feel a very strong sense of personal worth. And if you don't, that's what you're here to develop. So this is the house of self-worth. This is the house of personal worth, personal value, personal power, and your very own personal bank account. Yep, that's called cold hard cash. A lot of people say this is the house of money. I say this is the house of personal worth. Now, worth is also money, because today in 2020, power equals sign money. Power is not, my bicep. It's not my guns and ammo, although it can be that too. It actually, money talks. And I don't even subscribe to that. I don't believe in that. Now, I'm not a second house sun, but a lot of people do. And a lot of people get their value and their worth from the power that they wield through financial status or self-worth or self-esteem. And so personal worth can come through my position in life or my bank account, right? These people have a desire for power through personal possessions, personal talent, and money. And what's really being asked of them is building and growing a sense of security, either financially or, well, I should probably say both through self-esteem, self-worth, and through money, because money is the new power. Back in caveman days, it used to be, who had the sharpest spear or sword or weapon, or, who could kill the biggest buffalo. It's not that today. The buffalo is the wad of cash in your pocket. Now, I'm not saying I subscribe to that. I'm just saying that's what the world has created as the biggest tool, the biggest weapon today. And so these people have a massive desire for power, and they usually develop a talent and a worth that goes along with earning, in this case, that power. With astrology, you have to be able to modernize. Astrology was created like 2,500 years before Christ was born. So, we're in 2020, and this was born in 2500 BC. And so the language and the meanings were different. They still operate and they still work. They didn't have currency. Like, currency wasn't the power that it is today. The dollar didn't exist, the yen, the peso, it didn't exist. So we have to modernize our thinking. These second house sun signs, their relationship with money is very real, because it creates a sense of identity, power, and position. And it creates, more than anything, a sense of security. So their relationship to money is very genuine and very real. And there are two things for sure with a second house sun, and that is that they are ambitious and generous. Now, they can be lazy if money and resources was given to them, because that's like, hey, I love you, I give you all my power, all my resources, you can have it, you can keep it, you can borrow it. So they never self-develop. But if you did not receive money from another, so if you don't, that actually means if you don't have a strong eighth house, because eighth house suns receive money or give money. If you don't have a strong eighth house and you're a second house sun, you probably are self-actualized and self-made, and you probably created your own power through generating your own money, which then in effect created your self-worth. But there's two things for sure. You're generous and you're ambitious, and you're probably also very fixed in your routine. You like your particular cup of coffee, you like your 2 shots of vanilla with your milk, or your oat milk steamed to 98-degree temperature. If you want to test this, if you want to test if you're like a second house, sun for real, I'm going to give you a challenge, okay? I want you to sleep on the other side of the bed tonight. This is kind of hard for me to do because I've got planets in the second house, but what I do to challenge myself, and it's actually really good for you. It's good for your left brain and your right brain. It's really good for you to mix it up. Is when I travel, when I sleep in a hotel, or when I go to a friend's house, or whenever I am not in my own bed, basically, I challenge myself to sleep on the other side of the bed, because at the subconscious level, my God, it grows you. It really grows you. You sleep on the whole other side of your body. You have a relationship with the whole other side of your body that you don't normally have. So I want to challenge you, and I want you to sleep on the other side of the bed tonight. And I want you to start doing that and see How bad? It messes with you. It's actually so good for you because it opens up new challenge. It opens up new channels. It opens up new activity at the subconscious level, and it allows dreams to enter through different portals. You'll feel off balance. You will be exercising a whole different side of yourself. It's adventurous. Just try it for me, okay? So second house suns have a huge desire to be of worth and of value to themselves and to other people. They want to build solid foundations, really solid foundations that they feel safe and secure inside of. And they also want their security to pay off for future generations. They do want to pass their torch on. They want their life to be of value where somebody else benefited from their hard work. They like things. They like people, homes. They like their goods, their people, their friendships, their homes, their cars to be of value and of lasting value. And they can be possessive of people and things because they don't take life lightly. These people don't believe in frivolity. They're not here to just duplicate the next thing. They really want to sink their teeth into the structures and the foundations of their life. And eventually they're here to discover that they are worthy of love. And they are here, second house suns are here to build confidence and self-esteem, and eventually to not limit their life by worrying about money and self-worth, but to be in a peaceful state around it. They are loyal, they are refined, they enjoy the simplicity of life because that brings calm and tranquility and removes anxiety. They're well cultured, they are reclusive, and they are also difficult to access or reach emotionally. They can be territorial, but they are self-contained and they don't ask for help even when they should. And they can be slow to change. Let's forgive them for that because they add so much value. If you are in jail and you need somebody to bail you out, you figure out who has a second house sun. I don't care what sign they are. They can be the worst money manager in the world. They can be a Pisces in the second house. They'll have money in their bank account or a credit line to bail you out. So call your second house sun to bail you out of jail. Third house, let's dive in. If you have the sun in the third house, knowledge is important to you and it's the center of your universe. This is the house of communication and the exchange of ideas. And you love learning. You are a knowledge whore. Forgive me, I just love saying it. Oh, I love teasing you. And you know what? I speak to each house a little bit differently and you can handle it. So if you're a third house sun, leave me a comment and let me know because I just love saying it. But you know it's true. You are like a book junkie, a knowledge junkie. And you'd like sell out. You'd sell out for a knowledge. If you want to kill these people off, just tell them that you have a secret and you're not going to tell them what it is about something that they value, something that they really, really love. Like, I know the secret. But you enjoy passing on knowledge and that you've gained, that you've learned, and you're probably going to be knowledgeable to the point of a little bit obnoxious. You're going to be like the guy at the Trivia Pursuit, the bar where they play Trivia Pursuit on the microphone. I gotta hate that night. First of all, I barely understand the question, let alone the answer, but you're the guy that's like, I know the answer. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was in 1972 when, it's like, how do you live with yourself? Like, it's so much information, but you're here to expand the mind and you're here to learn about other possibilities, chronic other possibilities, not just what you know, but what could be so. God, if that's not a mind trip, who's the third house sun here? Because I want to know you. I'd like to spend 30 minutes with you. An hour might be too much. You might overload me, but 30 minutes would be exciting. Okay, I'm only teasing you with a bunch of love. You know that, right? But you're here to learn about the entire world and your one big giant hypothesis of Well, it could be. Well, the possibility is, well, if we added this, well, the equation could, and a Rubik's Cube. I want you to think about, this is like the house of the hypothesis. These people crave understanding the equation from every single way possible. They have like a Gemini wrapping paper or a Gemini filter, even if they're a Scorpio, even if they're a Capricorn, but they crave understanding the world and how life works. And in order to adapt to it and expand, they have to expand themselves and their mind in order to adapt to the world as it changes. They love mental success, and through success you come to understanding, or the only way to be successful is through understanding the world. You can't understand the stock market if you don't understand the world. You can't understand how much your house is going to sell for unless you understand the market. So these people are extraordinarily knowledgeable, and they connect the friggin' dots. Like, if you don't have a third house sun or somebody who has prominent third house planets in their chart, wow, you're missing out. You're living under a rock. I'm telling you, if you want exposure, meet a third house sun. If you are a third house sun, please let me know. And you can brag, but just tell me, how smart are you? Really, this is a house of high intelligence. But I want you to ask the first house if this is true, that your analytics allow you to be successful in life, because the first house is going to tell you it's not about analytics, it's about instincts. So the first house is instinctual. The second house is about routine hard work, showing up every single day and being your word and being loyal to it. The third house is about analytics. So it's very interesting how we all get to self-mastery and self-actualization, which is what the sun is about. The sun sign in your chart is how will you self-actualize, and we all get there from a different path, and there are 12 paths. Let me continue about the third house though, because I don't want to shortchange these people. These people are incredible, but you love exploring diversity, and not just in people, but in understanding all options and all outcomes. And this is an exciting placement for the sun because there's just no end to it. It's like infinity. It's like trying all 32 flavors at Baskin Robbins and liking them all and walking in and going, which one am I going to pick? Daiquiri ice or chocolate chip or, peanut butter fudge? Ooh, I like them all. So it's the world of opportunity and the world of options. That can be debilitating when it is in the shadow side, but God, isn't it an adventure? And so many people pick daiquiri ice, or strawberry cheesecake every single time, but the third house soul wants to try all of them. It wants to taste test all of them. So it is exciting, but this is Gemini's natural placement. So there's a Gemini flavor to your soul if you're a third house sun. And it doesn't matter if you're a Cancerian sun that's shy and private. You're going to do some version of this. If your Cancer sun or Scorpio sun or Sag sun is in the third house. So your greatest cause or your greatest gift in life is to develop knowledge in an unbiased way and to develop your intellect. These are smart people, and I'll tell you, you're going to need to develop patience, and there's a communication gift and a speaking gift and an intellectual gift with this house. You are super open-minded. I think that this house and the 11th house, probably this house more, is the single most open-minded house out of the entire chart. Even if you're a narrow-minded Capricorn or Scorpio, where it's black or white, or Leo, put it in the third house and you become open-minded. So the sign in which your sun is in is great, but the house in which it's in is the way it's going to move. Right? It's the way it's going to dance. So it's no small thing. So if you don't know your birth time, I'm going to cry myself to sleep. You've got to find it. You've got to write to the hospital. You got to interview the people that were there during the time you were born. You got to call your mother. You got to look in your baby book. You got to go get your birth certificate. Please, please, please tell me you know your sun sign. And if you do, you should probably go order one of my gorgeous natal charts. They are so beautiful. So you can see what every house cusp is. I create the most beautiful charts. If you don't know about it, just go watch any video. I talk endlessly about my gorgeous natal charts. I make them myself, and they're custom made, and they are beautiful because you can read all the cusps. You can read every single house cusp, and you need to know that. If you didn't watch the video, like find the headline of your life, go watch that video and you'll understand why the birth time is so important. You know, if you have a third house sun, you're in a rush, you're in a hurry, you already want me to move on. And I want you to know that like your dad could have been quirky, intelligent, he could have been quirky, smart, and you didn't appreciate your dad until later years in life. And you can have a struggle with your siblings. They could be jealous of you, or you could just be so emotionally detached. This is the house of the mind, not the heart. So these people are head over heart, but they're really good communicators, and you're probably born to speak or write. Let me know what house is your sun sign in. I don't want to know your sun sign. It doesn't matter. I want to know your house. So fourth house. The fourth house is very interesting. If you have your sun in the fourth house, this house is the house of your home, your roots, your family, your legacy. This is the deepest part of yourself. And this is the main focus of your life. It is down in your reigning needs, your desire to build this strong inner and outer foundation like family foundation, and your inner core to get to know yourself. But you're going to need to retreat from society and from the toxicity of society a lot, because you're going to be in a cave in order to rejuvenate, in order to feel peaceful. You know that commercial long ago, Calgon, Take Me Away? Yeah, that's this house. It's like the influence of your parents, for good or for bad, is really enormous. It had a huge, huge, huge effect on you. If you're a fourth house sun, tell me if your family wasn't a huge effect on you, for good or for bad. I pray good. But if you have a lot of really hard aspects to your sun, they probably affected you negatively. But there's still pride in this, in your family, or there's pride in your own home that you have built for yourself, and you want to shine in your home, and you want to show your creative power and your passion. And this is where you can be the real you. You love entertaining and having people come to your home rather than you going out. You're the king or the queen of your castle, and a castle, even if you live in a tent, is truly your home and your blessing, your absolute blessing in life. There's the inner, I want you to think of yourself as the scuba diver, because you're going to go down in, right? You're going to go down in with your tank and your mask, and you're going to go into the deepest inner exploration of yourself. And this inner exploration like sprouts or grows from the sun in the fourth house. This is the unconscious. And this is the emotional and the intuitive and the psychic parts of your personality. And a person here is very interested in their own inner motivations, their own fears, and their own core needs. These people are highly attuned to their self and to others. They're the great nurturers, the great healers. This is like the house of the Mists of Avalon. Tell me you know the story, the Mists of Avalon. And if not, please, dear God, oh my God, go read that book. If you are a fourth house sun and you have not read the Mists of Avalon by Zimmerman, Marcia, I forget her first name, but her last name is Zimmerman. Oh my God, please go read this book. That's how strongly I feel about it. This is where we travel into the misty, unknown forest, and we dig down deep within ourselves where no one has gone before to complete the journey. and we go into the completely sealed self, the hermetic self, the self where the lid has never been popped off. This house is deep. It's deep. It is the cocoon. It is going into the depths of the soul. It is the house of intuition. It requires unfettered peacefulness. It is the internal self that I do not show you. It is the house of mystery, self-containment, and it is where my family forever lives or haunts me. It is private. It is psychic. It is sensitive. It is thoughtful. It is where our emotional fears live. If you have a fourth house sun, you are subjective. You are not analytical or logical. You are subjective. You believe in relativity. Do you know what I mean? Like, this truth is true because it's relative. Relativity bosses you around. People who have fourth house suns are deep, 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 deep. They have a deep internal world. Marlon Brando, Ted Bundy, Tina Turner, Tesla, Nikola Tesla, Conor McGregor, he just retired, Julia Roberts. They are deep. They are family oriented. And it's really big time. Their family is their tribe, their legacy, and they're proud of it. Now listen, I don't want you to just know your own house placement. I want you to go look up your loved ones, your children, your boyfriend, your husband, your sister, your mother, because this is going to develop so much compassion in you. When you understand that your mother came from a placement of a fourth house sun, you're going to know why she cared so much about you, especially if you're an 11th house sun where you didn't care that much about her, but she was overbearing. And when you realize that your partner is a fourth house sun when you weren't loved properly, it will help heal you. The reason why I want you to understand the truth of astrology and the deeper layers of astrology and the authentic, deep, deep core of astrology, and not just BS superficial things about astrology. I could talk all day long about what it means to be a Cancer. And by the way, you can go watch my Cancer video if you want, because I did do that, not in a superficial way. I gave you the deep, deep truth about it. But I want to go deeper than that, because we don't do sun sign astrology. We go way deeper. We're going to peel the onion here. But I want you to develop love and compassion for the people in your life. And the way that you can do that is to truly understand the complexity of human beings and the people that you love. So let's go into the fifth house. So if you have the sun in the fifth house, you are playing, your soul wants to self-actualize, right? Like, the house will show you how your soul wants to actually self-actualize. And self-actualize, remember, means how to be uniquely you in your own authenticity and your own truth. Well, this is the house of pleasure. And I personally call this house, other astrologers don't, but I call this house the stage. This is like the film stage or the Broadway show stage. This is like getting to be Hamilton in the show Hamilton on Broadway, okay? This is the Tony Award winning stage. So if you are a fifth house sun, what's interesting about this is that you have this desire to reveal your creativity either on a stage, like with a little bit of razzle dazzle and a little bit of fame. So there's high creative self-expression. And these people, these souls love sports, and they love acting, and they love storytelling, and they love games and pleasures and romance and love affairs and drama and excitement and living life on the edge and creating joy and passion. And they live life to the fullest, and they are infectious, and they glitter. Yes, glitter. So you have this ability to enjoy life and help others create joy in their life. Joy is the energy of this house. Pure, raw, unadulterated joy. It's like you have to give birth, though, to the creation of something with this house. You have to bring something from nothing into the manifestation of the material. So these are the birth makers. This is also the house of children, ironically. So you have to give birth to a creation. You can be a man or a woman. So you have to give birth, literally, or give birth to a creation. You have to go bake a cake. You're with me? Like metaphorically, you have to bake a cake. You have to write a song. You have to create a masterpiece. You have to create something. And when you do that, there's a razzle dazzle about you. You shine bright. You will create laughter and joy and sex and love and giggles in your creation. And in the shadow, you're going to want to run away from all the depraved and disgusting parts of life. And we both know right now, sitting here in July 2020, there's plenty of depraved parts of life. And these fifth house suns want to run away from that gruesomeness, if you will. And you know, when you run away from the gruesomeness of life and you don't confront it or fix it or look at it or analyze it or study it or want to work with it or change it out, you know that that can be a problem. But these people will make you laugh. They will make you sing. These people at the protest bring their guitars and start performing. So we need them. We love them, but they have to be willing to go deep. And these people are here to learn how to take creative risks and to self-express in an authentic and super creative. Creative means a way that has not been done before. Now, they can take somebody else's thing and use that as a template as long as they create their own individual mark. And to love and love big. Love is a huge expression of the fifth house. Now, it might not be a forever love. It might not be an everlasting love. It might not be an eighth house love, but it is a love. It's like a love of small, chubby children where you just want to kiss their cheeks. Or loving that elderly person who can no longer care for themselves and you change their diaper or you tell them a story, or loving your parent, or loving your flowers in the garden, right? Loving your animals. It's the exchange of love. This is a big-hearted house. Big-hearted house. If you were Hamilton on the stage, on Broadway, playing Hamilton, Alexander Hamilton, how big of a heart would you have to have, right? I know not all people have seen that. So you can swap it out for Evita. You know, if you were going to play Evita on the stage, if you were going to play the samurai on the stage, how big of an energetic heart would you have to have, right? If you were going to be Jackie Chan in any movie, right? God, you'd have to bring power. And even though he's killing a lot of people, you have to bring an energy in your heart. That's the fifth house, to bring entertainment and joy to others. You're the entertainer, and you're kind of like the forever young soul because you're very childlike. Okay, the sixth house, it's a little different. If you have your sun in the sixth house, you're in the house of what I call self-mastery. Now, that's what I call it. You know, other people are going to call it the house of the servant or the slave or whatever. I don't like that. I don't think it's true. I think we have to modernize our astrology, and that's why I'm an evolutionary astrologer. I'm not a Vedic astrologer, and I'm not really a Hellenistic astrologer or a traditional astrologer. I'm an evolutionary astrologer. And so I want to make it relevant to you right now, today, in 2020. And also, I want it to be deeper. I want you to experience with me the depths of the truth inside of this, okay? This is the house of self-mastery. So if you have your sun here, you are here to develop or focus on, or your ego is going to develop through being exceptionally efficient and growing a great skill and then mastering that very skill. So you will develop or want to develop a grand competence, becoming smart and serving the world beyond yourself with this smart and competent intelligence, mastering your craft around it. Are you a sixth house sun? I want to know you and tell me, what is your gift? What is your craft? And daily devotion, building a daily devotion around this work is absolutely critical in order for you to find value in your soul. Like the fifth house needs to create fun and excitement and entertain and create pleasure and joy for self and others. You need to be exceptionally good at your craft and efficient at it in order for you to find value in your soul. And then you need to be in service using this craft or talent to others. So that's why a lot of people call this house the servant. But I actually feel it's not just about serving jello shots at the party, It's not just about, do you want a cupcake? No, it's about, I've mastered the craft of the perfect cupcake. Would you like to try it? Because when you try my cupcake, I will elevate your cupcake game like you never knew could happen to you. And when I elevate your cupcake game, you all of a sudden understand my worth in life. Okay? Now, I'm being funny. Let's substitute the cupcake game for something like, well, my mom. My mom, who has a jam-packed stellium in the sixth house, who is a forensic witness, ferreting out and breaking cases wide open around sexual predators in school districts. That's not cupcakes. That's self-mastery. So this house is deep, and it's rich, and it's big, and it's important. And if you're a sixth house sun, you will start out as the best student in the world, only to become the best teacher. This is no small house. And I don't like how traditional astrology gives this house the short end of the stick. I don't like it. So if you're a sixth house sun, you probably have a humility that you don't argue it. And you probably have your nose to the grindstone in your craft, where you are so focused in what you do that you just may allow astrologers to sort of diminish the sixth house. But if you are a sixth house sun, I want to know you. I want to know you. I say that because I want to know if you know your craft. There's a humility with this house. Now, on the shadow side, sixth house suns, I will say, like any sign, can develop a strong shadow side, and they can develop themselves into the critic, and it can go two ways, right? Like the unhinged critic that can become a critical monster of everything and is just a Debbie Downer at every party, like this place just isn't good enough, or you're not good enough, or you didn't put enough salt on my spinach, or whatever it is. Or you can also, you can lack sensitivity towards others, or you can be the Siskel and Ebert critic, where or the food critic, where you really can discern, wow, there's cumin in here, not paprika, and you can be this like master craft of discernment. These souls need to have a job or a work in which they take great pride in. And this is where they will shine. They're going to be the workaholics of the zodiac. I'll just tell you, if you're a sixth house soul and you are self-actualized, you are a workaholic. Why? Because you know that the job that you came here on earth to do is so freaking big. It is so enormous that one lifetime cannot get it done. And if you are born to a sixth house sun, like I am, you know that you're important and special and remarkable, but you're not the only thing they're doing. And you're not the only special thing in their life. And in the weirdest and twisted of ways, it makes you, as the child, turn out to be amazing, because, I say this because you know that your sixth house parent or your sixth house partner or your sixth house person, in the most humble of ways, has such a big job to do, and that is called self-mastery. And that is no easy task, and they are dedicated on a daily basis in a daily routine. morning, noon, and night in their rigidity. They are devoted to their cause of self-mastery. What is self-mastery? Self-perfection. What is self-perfection? Self-efficiency. They are efficient and they are perfect. If you have a sixth house sun in your life, tell me, do they feel perfect to you? Do they feel pretty perfect? Do you feel like they want to be perfect? Do they seek perfection? Are they seeking perfection, wanting perfection, talking about perfection, or are they actually perfect? I actually have a perfect sixth house sun person in my mom. It's crazy. And she's in her 70s now, and she's filled with self-mastery, and she's a beautiful role model for me. She probably won't even see this video so I can talk and brag about her. But she surprises me, and sometimes she watches, and maybe she will be, but she's down deep in her own thing. Like, she's absolutely amazing, the work that she's doing as a forensic witness, breaking apart cases and revealing the truth around the sexual predators inside schools in the American public, in American public schools. And she's amazing at it. And sometimes there's a case, and sometimes they're not real cases, and she can tell the difference. She can discern that. These people want to make the best of their minds, the best of their intellect, and the best of themselves. Their shadow side creates worry and anxiety, and they can't relax, and they have a lot of stress and a lot of tension. And these people need to take good care of their bodies. And if you can help your sixth house sun, it's by helping them relax and helping them by bringing joy and peace and tranquility into their life.